So, guys, for the past couple of weeks, I've been reading this book called Refugee. It's by Alan Grant, and yeah, this is basically my project for it. So, I'm just gonna do an overview about it uh, right now. Yeah. Oh, I got a book. It says Refugee by Alan Grant. Pretty cool. Red and black. Yeah. Holy crap, this has 300 some pages. I'm not reading this. So we actually started reading some pages, and basically we have three main characters: Joseph, Isabel, and Mahmoud, repeating in the same chapters. Like chapter 1 is Joseph, chapter 2 is Isabel, chapter 3 is Mahmoud, chapter 4 is Joseph, and then it just repeats. So Isabel, her situation, she lives in Cuba, and her mom is about to have a baby, and they want to go to America. Joseph, he is a Jewish boy in World War II living in Germany, and he is excited to become a man because in Jewish tradition, I think, when you are 13, you become a man. And Mahmoud, he is a Syrian boy in Aleppo, and there's been a bunch of attacks in Aleppo, and he wants to be invisible, he calls it. He wants to be unnoticed because that's how he avoids all these dangers that he faces in his city. So I have a test in 2 days on chapters 1 through 6, and I'm only on chapter 3, so I need to start reading. So now Joseph is a lot to go over, so let's get started. So basically, Joseph's father got sent to a concentration camp, and this is very sad because concentration camps are known to be lethal. As you know, they're a place that they basically took hostage of Jews. But happily, he returns 6 months later. But Joseph does something very stupid in the next chapter. Joseph basically goes into a non-Jewish place and hides the Star of David. The Star of David was known as for segregation to literally like segregate people. But he hides the Star of David. Now this is very risky, and he gets caught basically. So he does get caught and by this like Hitler youth program kid, and I guess this could like jeopardize him and his whole entire family. So basically, for Isabel and Mahmoud, Isabel has this best friend named Ivan, and they're basically inseparable. And one day, when Isabel was playing the trumpet, she heard a riot out of somewhere. Now there was a bunch of people, like there's policemen, policewomen, and just people rioting. Now Isabel saw her father in the crowd and saw one of the policemen beating up her father, and then Lewis, this guy, Ivan's brother, goes and says, "What are you doing?" And then Isabel basically jumps in and tries to save her father. She does, though, but Isabel's father was in so much danger that he has to leave Cuba tonight. And Cuba is like in this low sort of state because of basically economy, and their economy is not holding up well. So Isabel needs to leave Cuba. Now, in Mahmoud's case, basically everything was going well. And then one day, a bomb literally hit Mahmoud's side of the living room. Basically, their whole entire living room wall was destroyed, obliterated. And that is very bad and shows how basically risky their city is. So they need to leave their home. So basically, our characters find themselves needing to leave their country. And that's what these chapters basically set up. So this basically is going to be a reading weekend where I read a bunch of chapters. So yeah. So basically, we left off on this Hitler Youth kid taking Joseph away from this place. But then this Hitler Youth kid just says, "Don't do this ever again," blah, 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 and basically lets Joseph go. So Dallas is about just suspension released. And then basically they have this plan to go straight to St. Louis, which was a ship. Like, it's the actual ship. I'm going to put a picture up. It's a ship that actually existed. And basically, they run straight to the St. Louis, trying to get on to go to Cuba, which is where Isabel lives, but in a different time period. Yeah. So for Isabel, she realizes that Ivan, her best friend, their family is building a boat to leave Cuba. And then Isabel proposes that her and her family will also leave with them on that boat. And basically, they all plan to leave on basically that boat. And they are trying to get back to the U.S. In Mahmoud's situation, he realizes that all of his family is still alive in the explosion. But they now need to leave, and they want to head to Germany. Is it just me, or do I feel like I'm using basically way too much in this video? So in Joseph's situation, Joseph loves the St. Louis. Even his little sister, Ruthie, loves the St. Louis. And yeah, that's basically what the chapter talks about. In Isabel's situation, Isabel leaves Cuba. But there's a little more people than expected. So Isabel's family, herself, her mom, and her dad. And then Ivan's family, Ivan had his mom and his dad. But then Ivan's brother, Louis, he actually comes along with them, and his girlfriend, Amara. So you basically have 8 people on one handmade boat, which could kind of be a little risky. Oh yeah, and we forgot someone in Isabel's boat. Lido, Isabel's grandfather, is also coming. So we actually have 9 people on the boat. And then in Mahmoud's situation, Mahmoud's family drives to Germany. And on that drive, they interact with one group who wants to defend Aleppo. That makes Mahmoud think should him and his family defend Aleppo. But then their car got shot down, and now basically they have to leave all their stuff, and they only have their phone left to navigate.